All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Okay, so look, I don't care if some ENT is attempting to sell me a hearing aid because I probably need one anyway. But at least look at my symptoms. I mean, for some reason, he got paranoid because I said, "What about all this?" What they'll do is when you're sick, of course, you're going to buy a hearing aid more likely when you're sick and the tinnitus is up and all of that. Right. This shouldn't have happened. Again, I should have been in with the ear, nose, and throat people back a bit. Right. Again, I couldn't get there, and I didn't realize that they were steering me away from healthcare. In fact, I should have been in Texas. I should have seen an ear, nose, and throat. If not there, I should have been able to get there in Oklahoma. I couldn't get to hardly any doctors in Oklahoma. I set up family doctors everywhere, twice in Tyler and in Amarillo. Now, I didn't get one in Dallas, but thanks, Larry. So this doctor today says he thinks, he believes the infection is gone and was gone the day of the CAT scan. I don't how he comes about that, but that's he seemed like a nice enough guy, right? I mean, because the CAT scan said sinustus, right? Sinustus, whatever it is, right? Sinustus, which is usually meaning infection. So at least tell me to come off the remainder of my antibiotic, which I'm just kind of out there. Yes, no. I guess maybe I should. Right. And if I had probably been if I had wired in, it would have worked. Again, the idea of chasing me around and all that and having me move off doesn't help either. But also the doctors have an inside, so right. Well, they'll see them or see something around me and might destroy it. So what's nice is Ascentus Healthcare, which I think the pro-life people were protesting while I was there. It's just the way it is sometimes. They have text, SMS. You don't have to call them and leave a message. You just write them a note in the SMS. I mean, it's genius. You don't have to, I mean, please push 1, push 7, push 8. Now leave a message. And if I don't like your message, I'll delete it. I'm not sure how they sort it out. Maybe it's just a small enough practice or something. So you just text them. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then they text you back. Have you ever seen anything so simple? I know so this is what happens, right? So I drive. Well, first I see the pro-life people protesting. So I'm thinking something's up. Then I see, I walk into the building and there's a black woman. Oh, black woman, I must be in the wrong place. Of course, it hits you with that. Actually. And it did smell like cigarettes on the first floor. I have no idea why. Well, I believe they probably they see people that other people won't see. I imagine that's something they do. Right. But I mean, I was probably at the creme de la creme the last time, and nothing happened for me. Right. I don't know. I apologize, and I didn't have to. I said, I'm sorry, it just didn't work for us. I mean, I came in there, I'm supposed to get a CAT scan. Well, he didn't ask me the right questions, and he's leading the whole thing. I'm like, what about the sinus test? That's another appointment. I'm like, what? I can look to see if I have an infection. I didn't say that part because he freaked out on me. He was like, when he tried to sell me a hearing aid, which I have a problem with, I'm sick with an infection. So I feel like, garbage. So I'm like, what about all this? I mean, I'm supposed to get a CAT scan of my sinus. And he goes, we do not engage in hard sell of hearing aids in this practice or something like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't say it. I'm like, what? That's all of you in his head. That's really what it is. All the devil's in his head. You're all confused. So this guy that did that is like highly rated. He's batting, the highest average of any doctor in the community. So this guy they went to today, which again, hopefully he's right about the antibiotics. Right. He's got like, Mr. Shitty score. But I go in there and it's like, oh, hi, how are you? Welcome. So, of course, they have the highest tech. The first place had all this high tech stuff. So I go into their like audiology booth and it's like secondhand VA equipment, And like when I came up the steps, I'd stepped outside because I didn't feel like sitting inside for 15 minutes. So I stepped outside, called my brother for a bit, went back inside. I went there early anyway. I pre-registered, but so when I got to the second floor, there's a woman standing there. And she's like, Lawrence, and she was the audiologist. And I'm like, I apologized to her. I said, I'm sorry. I didn't. She's like, no, don't worry. You realize you were waiting, right? And she does her thing. And then I go to the doctor, and then the doctor's nurse comes in. And she asked me, she said, I'm sorry for all these questions, but we're going, this guy's been through a whole bunch of stuff. Let's try to figure this out. So they appreciated what I was going through, trying to find some health care that, made sense to me. So she comes in, she asks me all these questions, and she's like, yeah, we're like, we got to figure this out. We're going to help this guy. Thank you, Larry. And then he comes in, and he, several times he said, if you have any questions, ask me questions. If you have any questions, right. So again, I wish this hadn't happened because it would have just been easier on me. And it takes a lot, my age, it takes a lot out of you. Right. Again, if they hadn't interfered, I'd have a house, I'd have a family doctor, I'd have an ENT, I'd be rinsing my sinuses. I started rinsing my sinuses in Tyler, but as soon as I purchased the machine, they broke in and showed that they broke in. You see what they're doing. But do you really want to use that now that we broke in? See? That's what they do continually. There's nothing I'm doing. Okay. It's what they're doing. Again, I said I repented of some of what I said, but it doesn't mean that they're not guilty. So he said that he believes the actual infection moved away prior to the CAT scan, but I don't understand that because it says that they saw a sinustus or whatever it is, but it could just be residual. And I had rinsed a whole lot before the appointment. And I'm exercising my Eustachian tubes. They were clogged. I don't care what anybody says. They were not working. I got this like great score, not the best, but it's like 0 through 60. I got like a 15, which I think is a good score. I don't know if it's supposed to be higher or lower. Well, I guess if over 60 is bad, right? So I guess it was a lower end. It's a good score. But I actually was exercising my Eustachian tubes. I got them on frozen. And like I didn't even notice my ear has so much more room in it. Right. Now I'm not sure what it was the day before. Like, was this infection already starting? If I had actually rinsed, this probably wouldn't have happened. I got a machine now that actually it has suction and it puts the fluid into your nose and then it sucks it out. And it goes into another chamber. Then you're supposed to flip it away around halfway. I didn't know that. So I said to him, my right upper sinus is creating, thickened mucus again. And then they wrote me back and said, throughout the summer, make sure you keep rinsing your sinuses. So I went back and I rinsed my sinus again. It's a little better. Oh, I got sick. I woke up in that bed. I was so sick. It's just like it was like my sinus in my ears, but it's just like when you eat bad food and you wake up in bed. So it's like I'm going to the emergency room. But he's like, quick, go to the emergency room. You call us, from now on. And I said, yeah, I tried, but you told me you couldn't do anything until you saw me. I tried getting treatment. I was like, I thought I was going to give it a try, right? Like we can't help you until you see the doctor. But they're all nice people. But it gets me so mad because some of the women that I'm meeting, I'm like, I wanted to marry someone like you like 20 years ago. This is horrible. Right. So again, Satan is tormenting me. It's one of Satan's favorites. And again, I wasn't washing my hands with alcohol. Everything just like, but that's them. They will something, and then it takes over your life. They don't have to will it directly. Thank you, Larry. Well, he thinks the tinnitus is going to go away. It sounds at a regular level. Hopefully that will be nice. Because he says there's too much inflammation right now for it to go down. I noticed that in my ears. I got inflammation. But, it would have been better for this not to have happened. I haven't had something I had a real quick thing when I was with COVID, and then I took an antibiotic. It went away, and because I was trying to work on my body so much, I didn't get to the ear, nose, and throat. And this is the problem. Again, I have no idea why it didn't work. The system didn't work. But if I would have went to Advent Health in at least on 119th in Olathe, maybe the other one too, I would have had an appointment. They could power an appointment. Because I made my own appointment within 2 days, and then their appointment came through. And that's what I went to today. I couldn't get an earlier appointment. But I got an appointment within like 2 days. It was amazing. But the doctor just, I mean, he's scored as a great doctor by patients and things. Right. Got no idea. But I think something was in his head. I mean, the devils. He's just not used to it, Freaked him out. This guy said the swelling is still there, and then you can see some of the swelling still in the sinuses. So he knows, and he agreed with me. He's the first guy that goes. Everybody looks in my ear and goes, "Oh, no ear infection." Yeah, I came home. I think it was like the next day. Can you have an ear infection and not be seen? And it says yes. So I'm like, then why do they say that? Doesn't make any sense. Correct. That's one of the things they need to fix. Well, if you have an ear infection and you go to the emergency room, you're not going to get an appointment for 2 weeks, if not a month. Right. Or anywhere else. Even a family doctor does the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. You can have an ear infection without any visible signs. At least this doctor goes, okay, all that congestion and that inflammation in the ears and in the sinus will go away. So this is the first guy that goes, yes, you had inflammation and congestion in your ears. Everybody else is looking at me like, oh, no sign of any ear infection. Dude, you got to fix medicine. It's broke. I'm supposed to be there. That's the problem. But see, if I'd have been in medicine, I'd have a healthier life. I'd live an extra 20 years or something. Satan's been trying to kill me since I was a baby, actually. I was born to or at least one. Maybe in two. I can't remember. I can't be two. One. My mother had a couple of miscarriages. Then when I was a kid, I was getting circumcised. The rabbi screwed it up. There's no disfigurement, but I forget I guess I was bleeding or something, or something happened, and the rabbi had to pay. I think it was a rabbi. Who did it? This is a doctor or a rabbi? It's a doctor. Whoever did my circumcision screwed it up. They had to pay. It's like $1,000 or something when I was 18. So I had a doctor named Ravitz, but I thought his name was like Rabbits. When he gave me a tetanus shot, I thought he was rabid. I was like, I still remember that. Right. No, they screwed up my head and I couldn't get anywhere. So like I'm saying, there was no way for me not to have an ear, nose, and throat appointment almost with Advent Health. Who did I try to get an appointment with? A couple things, like the cyst even. I tried to get an appointment and I couldn't get it. Like the person that's supposed to set you up with an appointment calls me. I think it's HCA Midwest, I'm not sure. And they call me and the doctor doesn't answer the phone. And I'm supposed to work through their system to get an appointment. And they go, well, try him later. See, they're supposed to get you the appointment. It's just the way it's supposed to work. I really didn't have horrible sinus. Like this upper right sinus, I think was the big issue. Right. I'm still feeling a little sick, but again, that could be from the antibiotic. I don't know. But at least this guy said, yeah. He told me, he looks in my ear, he says, I see a bruise from a Q-tip. Did you Q-tip use? I'm like, no, I just used it because of this. See if it would do anything. So I used that liquid. Attacked me when I went to dentistry. Attacked me when I went to... I couldn't figure it out till this time. I figured it out. They were chasing me when I was trying to get some sort of care. I don't remember which one it was, but they're chasing me with their 454 license plates and stuff. Right. Well, believe me, it isn't the number. It's the torture behind the number. Right. All those years. So but I didn't even know it. It was like subconscious. Right. So like they'll break in around the number appearing. Right. Yeah, I actually freed my Eustachian tubes the day before the appointment. I rinsed really heavy, and I was doing that, blowing out the ears. Right. And then I have this thing where you stick it up your nose. You drink some water, hold it in your mouth, stick it like against one of your nostrils, close the other nostril, push the button, and it puts air into your nose, and then you swallow when the pressure kicks up, and then it kicks out your Eustachian tubes. Because everything started draining. At that point, I could taste it. That's why I had a good score. You go, see, this is the number for your Eustachian tubes. I said, just because I keep, because it was blocked. There was no doubt. If I'd used this sinus wrench, it would get real muffled. Right. So the last few days, I started physically doing a whole bunch of things. So this one's interesting. Like I said, this one, it has a pull-out thing. You pull it out, put it up against your nose, and it starts pumping fluid into your head and sinuses, and then the other one sucks it out. That's what I did wrong. I should have, if I could have got to the rinse, but when they're breaking in again, my mind doesn't see it. Right. Late fall, I should have grabbed a sinus rinse thing and been rinsing my sinuses. This wouldn't have happened. Right. But after the appointment, I texted them. And now they're going to mess with my text, right? They're going to hack it. But I texted them, and no time. I said, how many times should I rinse a day? I said, twice. So they sent me the answer. So again, healthcare needs work, but when you block me from healthcare, I can't help you. Right. Breathe there. So everybody should look into SMS messaging. There's probably advanced systems you could develop. Like for them, I think it's just, comes into their system. Right? I don't think it sorts out or anything. I think it's just that particular doctor. I don't know if there's other doctors on that list. I couldn't even think to call that doctor back because he gave me an allergy medicine to say, hey, look, I think I have an infection. And that's what I really came in. I couldn't even think to do that. Because that may have sufficed. You may have said, okay, let me send you an antibiotic. Right. So this doctor believes that earlier antibiotics killed it. It's just it was such a bad infection. There was a lot of residual. Well, they shouldn't have been in my life. I'm not going to ever say that they should have been in my life. I allowed them to be in my life for a period of time because, they're doing their law enforcement thing. I let them do it. Right. I'm doing my law enforcement thing. No, it was a nasty, nasty infection. I was sick. I didn't have it that much trouble around allergies, the spring allergies here, I guess. You know what? I think that thing from Advent Health when I went in and I had the crystal trouble, I think it was from a sinus infection, right? Or an ear infection or something. Right. I think it may have involved the crystals, but I think there was an infection. So if I went to Advent Health and they had said I had an infection, then I would have seen it probably an ear, nose, and throat in the hospital before I was released. And I may have, I don't know. I mean, right. So one of my recommendations is that type of thing happened, that if you can get a specialist into the hospital to see someone, I know it's kind of tricky, but I guess, they're pretty full up, I guess. Well, the question is if you could say, okay, now come to my practice. Right? They go in, they do like a 15-minute HIA thing, check the patient out, get paid the $7 million for the in-hospital treatment. And then they, I know you have the ones that are on call, but just the idea of continuity of care. Right. I guess it might be difficult. Somewhere someone lives, that kind of thing. Thank you, Larry. But follow-up, you got to make the follow-up foul-proof. Right. Like my family doctor, I couldn't even raise him if I wanted to for a while. And again, they were hacked after I established care there. I know, it sounds paranoid to all of you, but I know what they do. Right. Thanks, Larry. And I sent a message to the practice. I said, whoever's doing the law enforcement work, tell them to look for other types of hacking. Oh, geez. Is this thing broken? Jeez. Thank you, Larry. It's broken, I guess. And they cursed it. That's too flimsy. It should be stronger. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, sir. And then an SMS system where they just text the number. Right. You could actually, based upon their phone number, you could build a system that sorts the message. Right. Wouldn't take all that much. Well, I guess one of the problems would be if they have 4 people in the household and 15 different doctors. Right. But again, the number I called is his number. So I don't know if Ascentus, that's their practice or not. Do they actually do that? So I talked to my brother this morning. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Because the guy I talked to is weird, man. The system's talking about retiring him or something. So I read about this guy, and he's got he only has 25 reviews or something. And some people say, this guy listened to me. But then he goes, this guy's a jerk. He wouldn't listen to me. Everything I said, he said BS. And right. So I'm telling my brother, I hope I don't have to go through this again. So I come in right away. I can tell it was a different tone. Right. So I got a survey afterwards, and that's, it's everything they did was in the survey. It was there to, to give a commendation for. Thanks, Larry. Well, again, of course, they're doing abortions, and I'm in an anti-abortion state somewhat. Again, I'm used to that. Right? So, like, my thing is, like I said, I think I broadcast that, or my thing is with abortion is I'm pro-life, but I'm not God, and I'm not going to play God in your life. I'm not going to select your religion. So it's not neat because I'm with the what do they call them? I can't call them Mormons. They get mad. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or something, right? So we're doing Zoom study. Could you believe this? Or do you believe this? Do you believe the Book of Mormon? I said, look, I can believe anything. God does a lot of different things. Now, the reality is that I don't believe it's Satan at all. Satan has been doing some weird stuff around me, but I'm connected to the Quorum of 12 somehow. And I'm connected to these Latter-day Saint people because they're sending me videos and I'm seeing posts that are connected to what I'm saying. And again, the Pope does the same thing. I don't know if it's a talking point inside or something. I don't know how it's working, but I told them, I said, look, when I was waking up, I was receiving this information. I missed my move to the Salt Lake City twice, probably. Right. And I just got a flash of some sort of light. Okay, that went up there. It's just, all it is the door light going on, but I know how Hashem, God, works. And Hashem turned on a light and I saw a flash, and that should mean, again, gifts aren't perfect, so it could be Satan deceiving. But in Santa Fe, I was supposed to go. That was my first one I missed. There was a second one, I think, when I was in Texas. Instead of going to Colorado, I should have went to Salt Lake City. I found something for $1,000 a month. I don't know what they absolutely looked like. I probably should have. That probably would have worked if I'd asked them for more information. But I called them. They said, yeah. It's just a bunch of studios, I guess. Month to month rental. Nah, I'm almost sure I should have been in Salt Lake City. I drove through it and I was attacked by Satan when I was coming back from California. Going back to the East Coast. I drove through Salt Lake City and Satan attacked me. So I have this spiritual battle with Satan when I'm waking up. And then I see that video. There's one video as part of the Bible series that speaks about Moses, son of God. Right. And I had that exact same experience. And of course, some of it, it's my whole life. As soon as I'm up, Satan tries to take me down. Right. It'd been nice to get there and just see if I was there, Munson would have seen me and I would have seen Munson. I don't know if we'd had any relationship. Right. But he would have noticed me. When I was in Santa Fe, I was riding my bicycle and they had some sort of parade where the Catholics were walking. I don't think it was a priest. I think it was a cardinal or even a bishop. I don't remember who it was. But there was a little parade for something. I don't remember what it was. But I just came off the trail with my bicycle, and I was standing by the side of the road, just kind of chilling, and whoever it was saw me. And it was like a Catholic, wasn't a priest. I think he was a cardinal or something. You notice the person. No, I couldn't get anywhere. It's not like the illness is part of it, but it's part of a larger system. I still couldn't, when I was in Naples, I would call a couple places and that was it. Now I'm calling everybody, and I'm seeing a lot of different things, and I'm, like the LDS people showed up to a certain degree. They were messing up. Missionaries were messing up a little bit. They really want to get me to church, but I'm not going to show up in church till I'm well. But I appreciate the Zoom calls. There was and they do have like a male figure with them. I'm just not, again, I'm just not comfortable with just 3 young women, right, in a session with me in a Zoom thing. I mean, nothing's going to happen, but right, I just prefer to have a male around, an older male. So they had 2 different male guys that were part of it. So so it was 2. One was like 2000, probably 16 or so, maybe 15, and the other one was 2020 or something like that. Like, I just felt it was easier to go to Colorado, and I probably shouldn't. It was so darn expensive, even more insane. I mean, Salt Lake City went up. It looks like it's coming down a little bit. Right. Well, again, I've articulated that if a community takes care of me, God doesn't care what their religion is. You understand that? Right. Like Sabbatai Zevi, they were killing him, and he went to the Oman Empire, and they were all Islamic. But as long as they let him live, Hashem don't care. Then you find out he was actually doing Jewish stuff while he was there. They got mad at him. Right. Thank you, Larry. Sabbatai Zevi's real. At this point, he's lived a better life than me, even though he was, they're trying to kill him. Well, I don't find all of it. Again, the Jews, and the Jewish people, that studied all of the manuscripts and scriptures in Judaism, they kind of say, if you believe all of it, you're this, and I don't know what the exact term is, but you're a little bit crazy if you believe all of it. Right. But if you don't believe any of it, you're 10 times as crazy. Right. Well, I don't know why God does what God does, and I just accept it at times. There's a lot of good information. Like it helps you wake up when you understand what happened to Joseph Smith. Now, if you believe all of it, that's fine. I'm not required. I look at everybody's stuff, and I can see like some stuff that I think is kind of off, no matter what religion you are. But I think that's part of God's thing. Right. Again, the Bible conflicts itself, but really doesn't once you get with God. It doesn't really matter if it does. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Thanks, Larry. Now, I think the reason my sinuses got like this, I wasn't washing my hands. It's probably, I had the corticosteroid shots, which takes your immunity down a little bit. But I wasn't washing my hands with the alcohol. I think I lost it. I lost that whole focus. I'm so sorry. Again, it's not just about this moment. They should have been forced to stay away from me. It's that simple. Like I said, when I come in a community, I'm the guy who say, "How you doing? If you need anything, let us know." And I'll say back, if you need anything, let me know. And I'll wiggle my fingers. Larry. No idea what they were doing. No, I don't talk about anyone anymore. It's just not worth it. But everything I said is coming true. What can I say? Well, attacking the judiciary is so stupid. The judiciary knows the things that they did for the Republican Party. Oh, I'm eating bananas. I haven't eaten bananas since that woman did that. A little bit after, actually, but since Texas. Oh, they're the ones that gave Trump additional power. Right. They actually, whittled down the cases. I told you Trump wasn't going to jail. Right. Thank you, Larry. It's actually, never mind. Let's just say you utilize some magic power, like metaphysical power, the way I did it. Right. Well, I don't think he should go to jail, even though I said that. No, he had to be inconvenienced. That's the way the inside works. See, that's what's happening right now. Because of what you're all doing, you all have to be inconvenienced. So, it's just... Well, I still think, unless she was, just BSing again, Trump BS. So, what's her name? Kamala Harris. I don't think she'd have been the same as Biden. I just don't think. I think she just wasn't going to diss Biden while she was running for office. Correct. Now, we would have did law enforcement efforts, real ones. Well, there's no reason. I mean, we have to cut the number of immigrants that are here to make it more manageable, because even the immigrants are having trouble. Well, the judges know that they took care of the Republican Party at times and took care of Trump. So I don't know what you're all talking about. Just when it's not a favorable finding, you get all upset, and it's limited. I don't know if my apartment's making me sick or what. As far as I don't know. I need my VA money is what I needed, and this would never have happened. I'd have got to a better place to live, and I don't know. It's just like one day led into the next. Like I ended up in Oklahoma. I knew I was going to stay there. I should have just hightailed that. I should never have gotten rid of my trailer until I was comfortable somewhere. Right. And maybe that was the scam to make me feel kind of comfortable in my few months in my apartment in Oklahoma. Now, I know key moments when I messed up. I was going to buy this Hummer, and I just didn't like how it looked underneath. It wasn't detailed. If you would have detailed underneath, and I mean, just paint it with black spray paint probably would have sufficed. And before COVID, after I actually had COVID, and I was still recovering a little bit, I called this guy. Thank you, Larry. And I said, and I was going to buy this Hummer. And he's going to, loan me the money, and you pay him directly, that kind of thing. And I was going to go to Fargo, I think West Fargo, North Dakota. And I didn't go. That was my big mistake. Well, I kept trying to figure out how to take my stuff with me. And I should have just said, it's a long distance from Texas to Fargo, but I should have just said, the hell with it. I pay my $100 and something, right? I pay my $100 and something and in fees and in storage fees and just filled the Hummer up with traveling. Actually, I should have got an FJ Cruiser is what I should have got. I was just against spending like 25 grand back then. I just didn't want to do it. I probably should. I actually lost more money not doing it, money and health. So if I had spent 25 grand and just bought a vehicle, I'd have been fine. Right. And what I should have did was bought a shorter trailer and just had it set up so I'd have stuff stored in there. Or if I bought if I didn't get sick, it just came late. Like when I was younger, I should have bought like a trailer or a camper, right? Like kind of the setup I had, but a little different, and then just traveled, right? This would have been easier. And I would have met people I probably would have married. Well, they do have devil power. I mean, they do will things. So, again, that's very detrimental to what I'm trying to do and what I try to do in life. If they weren't given that kind of way to stalk somebody, then a lot of this would be nothing. Correct, Larry. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bless you, Larry. Again, this idea where God has punished me isn't real. It's an appearance. Again, Satan knows the scriptures better. Again, a lot of these people, these devils, are in churches and they know the scriptures. So they will the scripture to effectuate in their enemy's life, like to point at that person as being the sinner of all sinners. Right. No, the reality is I was going to get somewhere anyway of a religious society based upon, all the stuff I was doing without the infection. I was finally getting well. Right. Actually. So what I did was I had purchased this vaporizer thing, but it was like a small thing with like an oxygen mask type setup, and you put it over your nose, but it wasn't generating enough steam and it was limited and it took a while to warm up. So I purchased a vaporizer. But what it's doing is you can't control the speed and the amount. So it ends up making it oversaturated my room. So that was a delivery, and I wrote Walmart, and Walmart said, "Here, keep it. Here's your refund." I can't even figure out how the amount of the refund unless they like prorated the delivery costs, because I paid an extra $10 for rush delivery. So like they don't lose money on me because I do I paid I have the membership and then I have the $10 delivery. See, isn't this weird? I'm like going back like that time period. I can't believe they took those 4 years and trashed it. Right. I needed to get with my brother, and I told him, I said, "Look, I can't tell you over the phone. I couldn't tell you over the phone. I guess I could have, but I can't tell you over the phone everything." Because, they're trying to take advantage of me and attack me. So I'm like very careful. I don't want to give them ammunition, I mean, they tortured me for years to get me into that condition. I was serious. I'm a serious Christian, man. I was, at least. I'm a serious spiritual person. No, I didn't play games at all. Like, percent Larry. I was a nice guy, but I was serious about Christianity and, doing my part. And I would have been a preacher probably. I mean, again, like there's steps to being that, right? It wasn't going to happen overnight, but it's been a long time, and I would have been somebody somewhere. And they knew it, and that ruins their narrative. If I go to church and I'm a good guy, like I don't touch people. The question is, why me? Why do you want to try to make me that? Right? I investigated the why me, and it just didn't make any sense other than that's what they do. That's their scam. Oh, I wanted to say, Trump doesn't like that guy from Bank of America. I don't remember his name. Oh, Damone or something. I don't know. I don't remember his name. But he has to understand that, again, the banks are helping with things that he's asked or that he's concerned about. Remember, he's concerned about, you're concerned about the credit card interest rates. So I don't know who qualifies, but they just sent me, again, it's not a pre-approval, and I don't know how stingy they are with it, but they just created like an 18-month. You don't have rewards on these cards. Wells Fargo does the same thing too, though, but they sent it to me like in the mail, which costs them money. Right. I don't know what I did with it. I'm trying to find it. I think it's 18 months or something like that, 0% interest, which makes it very easy for these people to kind of get something. It's not even a loan, but it's a way to get forward. Trying to find it. I guess it's save money on interest. Bank of America, no annual fee. 0 intro APR for your first 18 billing cycles. And for any balance transfers made in the first 60 days of opening your account after intro APR offer ends. 3% intro balance fee for the first 60 days your account is open will apply. So, no annual fee and no penalty APR. What's that mean? Oh, if you miss a payment. Okay. Plus, your card has no penalty APR, which means that paying late won't automatically raise your interest rate. Other account pricing in terms of why. Now, so now you know why I got this, right? So I can explain it to all of you. Right. So Mr. Damone, whatever his name is. Oh, that's Chase. That's Chase, right? What's the guy from? Or maybe it is the guy from Chase. The Bank of America is doing their part. Let me look here. Who's the big Bank of America guy? That's someone else in that, right? Damone is Chase. Chase is okay. They gave me something. I might do a Chase Bank account. I don't know. Who is the big guy in Bank of America? The big guy at Bank of America is in the chair of the board and chief executive is Brian T. Moynihan. They were good with me. Bank of America has always been square with me. I don't use them as much like I used to, but I do have 2 credit cards with them. But he just put out a package. They just put out a package on this credit card. Now, I don't know what the requirements are, but this is a bailout credit card. Right. So I imagine this type of credit card, if you want rewards, it's usually a higher score you need. This is probably, you can't have like absolutely hard credit, but it's probably a low credit score to get into it. The thing is to jump to this before it's too late. Right. It says you get a response in as little as 30 seconds. Reply by May 30th. Oh my God. 0% entry APR for 18 billing cycles. And if you miss a payment, it doesn't automatically. I mean, at a certain point, it might go up. But plus, your card has no penalty, which means that paying late won't automatically raise your interest rates. Other account pricing and terms apply. So you get that 0% even if you miss a couple payments. So what they're also trying to save themselves from having people default too. So again, it serves both interests. But it's a nice card for somebody that's needing to get their interest, get their things down. If they can't get a loan or don't want to get a loan. So willing to take a chance on somebody for 18 months. So it might give you an opportunity to catch your breath, right, and get it all working. Sure wish I didn't get sick like that. It'd have been so nice to just have some peace and quiet for a while, right? Only about the Mormons is they excommunicate you. Right. I shouldn't say that. They want to be Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Well, I can believe in the establishment of the church. What is the word they use? Not reconstruction. They use something else. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Larry. No, hopefully there's not some big major neurological damage where this won't heal. Right. Doctor doesn't seem like think it is. Like I put my finger in my ear and I got all this space that wasn't there before, so I knew that was a swelling. Well, the idea is that just because somebody's not in the LDS doesn't mean they're going to hell. Well, again, I explained God's desire for people to have a good life, right? To be able to wire in and have a good life. So again, a lot of this, and I know there's people that fall and all that, just like every other church, but the social strata of a lot of the LDS communities is very positive, right? I didn't tell him the other one. I think I'll tell him the next time. God said to me, what if everything I've ever said on this planet is bullshit? I won't say it like that, but what if it's a lie? Would you be mad at me? God said that to me. I said, no, of course not. I'm sure you're doing something if it was a lie, because it's not a lie. You're just trying to help people. Right. But God told me that. God said that. What if I'm in every religion? I thought up every religion. What if it's just bullshit? No, you know why I'm saying bullshit? Because Hashem's pushing that through me. Oh my God. He said to me years ago. What if none of this is real? No, God's scary at the highest. I mean, if I was in a spiritual life, it wouldn't be so scary. If I really connect to God, I cry. I just sit down and cry all day because I miss God. Now, they do believe somewhat, I believe that there's, the Holy Spirit and Jesus and God are separate beings, but, the idea where God was once a man. Now, I do know that God has taken spirit bodies and shows up places that we don't even know exist. Right. I mean, he could have shown up here. Who knows? Right. Well, God likes living. Why would God create the existence if God couldn't live in it? Right. And again, there's an argument, not that we are God, but can God create anything but God? Not to say we're God, but like we're made up of whatever God's made up of. So again, no religion has everything. It's built that way. Right. Well, it's actually supposed to be a humbling experience. I think the whole thing failed. Uh-oh, what happened to my? It's charging, right? Yeah, it's charging. My battery. No, I got real sick, man. I'm still not steady. It was a bad infection. I wish it wouldn't happen so bad. I wish it didn't happen. I just, again, they will me down, and the stuff that, like, the system takes care of us, and they will me out of the system because they have way in the system, or they buy their way into the system. So, like, the doctors would have got me somewhere, and I'd have been like rinsing my sinuses and using hand sanitizers, and it wouldn't have affected me. Like during COVID, all that stuff was going on. Not necessarily, actually, I did at the tail end of COVID, after it was, I guess, just right after Trump, right before Trump. I guess it was like December or something, or November. In Tyler, I was rinsing my sinuses. Like I said, I bought that, and then they broke in. Let me know they broke in. See, it's just what they do. Nah, I think my life would have been better if I would have traveled. Again, the idea is I should have been able 5 years ago, to work out my bodily issues and get back to some semblance of mobility with comfort. Oh, I was in a lot of pain. I mean, I still have a little bit. I haven't been able to get to physical therapy. I just wish I didn't have this infection. That was horrible. Again, my head is starting to uncloud a little bit. Thank you, Larry. But yeah, where it really broke is when I first got here and I had to go in a hospital for vertigo and get checked out. I should have had an ENT visit. Possibly, yeah. You could actually have a nurse do that, possibly. Visit the inpatient. So I'm from Dr. So-and-so's office. I'm here to set up an appointment. But if you can't do that, that's what should be done before somebody's discharged. Well, because there's a thing that blocks continuity of care. Thank you, Larry. So we got to change the system to beat it. So he was pretty impressed. I changed the xylitol rinse. Believe you me, if I had my mind about me, I would be using xylitol rinse. Right. And I would have stopped. They beat me up, man. I just can't. And again, my bodily issues, the cramping had, taken down my ability to think in a certain way. Again, I could have been drugged. I don't know. Right. 100% there. Okay, sure. So the one guy that does the prayer line in Alabama, I bought him a tallis, a prayer shawl. Hallelujah, King Solomon. He wanted the dark blue, navy blue one. That's a nice one. I offered him a shofar on top of it. He said, "No, I don't need that." I don't know exactly what he was saying, but it may have been something about his wife. Right. I wish I didn't get sick like that. I finally came out of a dark tunnel, and went right back in. I was going to buy him one of those. It's actually the best price shofar. I don't know, it looked like bighorn sheep or something. I believe even the one that was bad was good. Right. They're like nice and bassy, right? And they're rough. I wanted the one that my gym teacher had at Beth Jacob was a smaller one, but it was like that. It wasn't finished. It was all rough. Just the edge was machined. But he had a real small one. He passed it around and showed it to us. It was from Israel. I think he was Israeli. I think it was JDL. Could be Mossad for all we know. But I remember he came walking off the stage during a, Israel. I think it was an Israeli Independence Day. Because we had been on the parade. I don't know what day it was. It was a pepper rally. Because we went to the parades on the Independence Day, unless they scheduled it a different day. I don't know. But we would we have a float. We'd walk. We walked in the parade. Right. But he. It was a pepper rally for Israel. The Orthodox rabbi was on the stage, but he went up on the stage and said some words. It came off the stage, and he looked directly at me. He just had this serious look on his face, this concerned, serious look. I had no idea what he saw. Thank you, Larry. I think it was the day when he also passed around the shofar. But ever since that day, I wanted one of those shofars, where it wasn't machined at all. Oh, I got 2 Jahujic ones and a couple of. No, I was out there. I couldn't see. Like I was thinking, what I was feeling in my face may have been neurological because I had all this stuff that was going on with the cramping, but it turned out it was from the sinuses. If I had got to rinse in my sinuses, I never would have had that infection. And all I had to do was see an ENT because he would have put me in. Right. So yeah, I tried to see if they could treat me without me seeing the doctor yet. Like, no, we can't. Actually, I don't think I'd actually. Yeah, I think I did hint, but I didn't say it. And I was going down. I was sick, man. I don't know. As far as the infection being over that long ago, I'm not sure about that. Well, the person evaluated said I had a sinus infection. So I'm not sure what he saw that said I didn't. But he did say, like, he finally, somebody said, oh, okay, yeah, I can see you still have swelling in your sinuses and all that congestion in your sinuses and your ears and all that, inflammation will eventually subside. So I'm thinking, right. Somebody finally acknowledges that I'm having something. Right. Well, she looked at my sinuses. She looked at my ears and, they look good. Well, it doesn't mean anything. This is the point. Like, didn't some doctor somewhere along the way that's an ENT figure this out? Well, if it doesn't look like anything, it doesn't mean anything necessarily. Right. So if somebody's complaining about ear pain and ear fullness, it isn't because they lost their hearing. And it's just that's what they tried to say. I'm like, what? One night I'm okay. I can hear. I don't. My tinnitus is like can't even hear it. Next day, and then hours later, it's screaming. I'm got glue, snot in my throat and my sinus, and oh gosh. See, so again, the idea is that you can't see two of the types of infection. I think it's two, right? And you can't see eustachian tubes. I know my eustachian tubes were offline for a while. That's the problem with not seeing an ENT right away, right? Because they weren't draining, and they weren't clicking or opening, and now they are. Because the score would probably, if it was still in limits, it wouldn't be less, was the lowest score. Right? Because like yesterday and the day before, I was like rinsing like mad, and then I was using this thing to exercise the eustachian tubes, and it blows them out, is what it does. It's like my hearing is not totally clear because I can blow out my ears and I can hear it open, and then it goes. I can't hear it actually open. I can hear it like go because it's still it's still closed a little bit. Right. What I do is it's a little dangerous, I guess, but not completely. I rinsed with the sinus. Oh, I'm not supposed to be down here. These people don't want me around their apartment. Oh, geez. But I rinse the sinuses, and then once it drains, then I blow out like I'm going to clear my eustachian tubes, and then you can hear the water go through. Just only like squeaking through, but I cleaned it out too. Well, the thing is, around here, every time I walk past their apartment, they come out. So I could be freaked out over that. I'm like, I'm not worried about it. Right. But they got freaked out over it. She goes, "You're looking at me. I'm not looking at you. I don't even have my glasses on. The glasses are on top of my head." Although I did look your direction going, "Who's that Chinese person?" But you're not Chinese, obviously. She's like, "You can't be around our apartment. You're like hanging out on our deck or our patio." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm just over here because the guy over here smokes." Right. I'm going to inhale his nicotine. And then he doesn't like hearing my voice. He gets all shaky Jake. So I'm trying to alleviate his nervous condition. Right. And go to the other side of the building. And I said, I'm not walking because I have an infection. Or I'd be out there walking everywhere else like I used to. 100%, Larry. This is just like not a place for me to have lived. But at this point, I wish I had there was actually a room that I wanted. Actually, no, it was on the wrong. No, it was on the other side I wanted. Right. It just one of the bigger rooms at that extended stay is where I should have stayed. I should have just tried to work out a deal with the bigger room. Right. Agreed. Went up in Lex. I just got a bigger room and paid the extra money. It would have been worthwhile. But well, in 2007, my idea was Hashem was hinting that I should go traveling to the they used to call them value places, and they were pretty cheap at that point. 2007, 2008, 10. If I got the trailer back then, so everything's happening late, and I knew that for years. Well, if I got the trailer back then and started traveling, I'd be much younger, right? Probably would have been married. Correct. Oh, they're trying to get me like freaked out about these people that I'm talking to, the church people, but it is what it is. It isn't what it is. But we have a lot of capability, digital capability, and the churches aren't really where they need to be. Correct, Larry. There should be a video chat on the VA crisis line and the Christian crisis lines. Correct. It's a whole different world. Oh, I was attacked today with not going to the appointment. Oh my God. Hey, it's horrible. They stalked me, man. Oh, so I bought this vaporizer, and it just oversaturates the room. But I knew, like, I couldn't buy it when I wanted it. I wanted it like a week earlier for my sinuses because I knew that that would give me enough steam that I was looking for. Like the, am I there? Hello, hello. Testing, testing. What just happened? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Let me see what I got here. Hello, 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 hello. Turn it down a little bit. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, I messed up sitting around in Naples. But there was a lot of attempts. I don't know if these people were real. Like I was in Naples and they were all messing with me in the gym and trying to. I mean, you could be sane and have problems, or not have a disability or whatever, or not have problems. Again, I'm not insane, but like Larry, a woman walked up to me and said, "My friend, do you want to get to know my friend? She's a nurse at the hospital. She's a good person." And I kind of wish today I'd have said, "Yeah," but again, you can't feel comfortable with something you can't feel comfortable with, right? Well, I'm just be careful that she could have been a setup, and next thing you know, she's making statements against me, and I get locked up in a loony bin, right? All right. So before I remembered that I had been drugged in Omaha, I thought something was going on, So I made an appointment with this doctor. He sounded like a wonderful guy. We made an appointment. No, not more than 15 minutes later, my mother called the police to lock me up. They're devils because they're on the phone line listening. That's the last thing you want me to do is make an appointment with a doctor. Right. And she was with that other guy, and she apologized to me, but the dirty deed had been done. Right. I mean, I didn't get committed. It's obvious that they couldn't do that. Right. My mother has set myself like 2 days later, like, well, aren't you going to let him out? Took like, because they hold you for like 70. They held me for like 70. They shot me up for speaking the Bible. It was crazy. Because I woke up and I was like, the Bible, I was reading my Bible. Like my first day in there, and I was reading, and my roommate was in there, and I'm reading the Bible. And I said, and I said something about the scripture, and he goes, "Oh, they don't like that here." Like, what? Well, they don't like us reading that. I'm like, what? So again, I went through persecution, man. You people, just because gay people get married, you all get upset and say you're going through persecution. I was jumped and drugged for reading the Bible and speaking about the Bible. 100%, no other reason. They even give you a video, like you can't talk about the end times. This is mental illness. You're gonna burn in hell. There's a guy telling his family they're gonna burn in hell, and they say in New Jersey they call that mental illness. I like I said, I hit the ground running, man. Hashem showed me everything that I needed to see. Again, Hashem reminded me the other day, we won. My mission has been completed for a while. I mean, there's other things I need to do, but the overall major thrust of my mission here on the planet's been completed long ago. So my mother's calling. I'm going, let him out, let him out. So I get out, and we're out there, and she, I said, what are we doing? What are you thinking? With this guy, he's a crook. And you believe in him? Would he push you in? Yeah. I changed my credit cards already. My credit card numbers that he had. She's giving him his credit card. So what's happening is Nick's got Alzheimer's, right? And I think we already have him. Did she have him somewhere? I think she had him in the hospital for that period of time. Right. So she's, she's an old maid at that point. And this guy's a young guy. And he's giving a good feeling, Right. And, she's giving him the credit card and all this stuff and telling him to watch me. And this guy, he actually was tried for fraud. But, he wasn't convicted. But, he probably was a fraudster. Right. We were supposed to get attorneys. I was going to get an attorney and go see. When I went to see my brother, I probably would have got an attorney then too. We were going to get an attorney and get it expunged. Right. Well, she was led into it by the con man. Right. Oh my God. Well, he wanted her to himself, man, so he could bilk the money. Right. Thanks, Larry. I don't even know what statement they made. I just told the doctor, like, was putting a hold on me. I said, I just want to let you know, my mother's been on medicine for like 30 years. Again, I was more sane back then. Not that I'm insane. They drugged me. What can I say? Right. And I couldn't figure out how to get back to my hotel. If I could get back to my hotel, it'd been fine. Right. Right. I didn't have GPS or anything. I think I had a road map. The deep state was chasing me across the United States. They're the only people that could drug you, 7 states over. Right. Tried to make me think it was the T, but again, part of their goal was for me not to be social, so then I wouldn't go to Starbucks anymore, I mean, I was so well known at Starbucks, they'd be, give me our best employee, our best customer coupons. I had no reason to do this, Larry. That's what they want to say now after it's all said. No, we had no reason to do it. We're sorry. Your churches would have been great if you just would have let me maintain in one of them, right? Or at least visit. No, I was probably like twice for the Bible, right? I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what the hell? But they drug you and then you fall asleep for like 8 hours for reading the Bible or speaking about the Bible. There was a black woman in there named Kennedy. She was in a wheelchair. I made sure I pushed her around when she needed to be moved. It was an honor. No, we know how she got the name Kennedy, right? Slave family were slaves. Thank you, Larry. Well, I got to see how it because I know what happened to me and it was false, So there was some young women in there, or even women my age, and they're sad because they're actually getting locked up. That's why I want to get out of New Jersey. Oh my God. If your family is whack and hates you, they can commit you for a long period of time. I think she was going to have to do 6 months or something. She was crying. I felt so bad. She was a good looking woman. I had married her. Small, petite woman. Right. Oh my God. So God, I knew my thing was phony. So, it's concerning, right? Right, Larry. No, I've never been officially committed. They did the whole thing, and it was bullshit. My mother and I were going to try to expunge it, but they start their shit because they're on the wiretap. So they hear what we're going to do, and then they screw up my life so bad I can't get anywhere. That may have been why they screwed up the last 4 years, because maybe that's what we were going to do. I know somewhere along that timeline, I did say that's one of the things we would do. I get an attorney in New Jersey, and my mother would make a statement, and it'd go by the wayside. They couldn't charge her. It's statement, whatever. What do you call that? Statute of limitations. Right. Right. Besides, she was older, and they wouldn't do it. I think that's one of the things I was going to do when I went to my brother's house. Was get an attorney and fix that. That would give them a reason to do what they did, but crooked reason. I'm sorry, Larry. We're so sorry. So again, it's nice that at least the LDS see that Jesus really said enough to say that he isn't God. So what the truth of that is what it is. But I don't believe he's God. Do I believe God was once a man and was rewarded? God could come up with something like that, but it wouldn't. He wouldn't be God. God does funky stuff, man. Yes, you are now God because you did so well. God's a little man behind a curtain. So Wizard of Oz actually, Kansas really let me down. It's just horrible. Like even from a little kid, I was like, "It's no place like home," kind of thing. Big Wizard of Oz fan. Oh my God. Thank you, Larry. No, what happens is we're limited by what we know on this planet. So when God introduces other concepts outside of this planet to me, things when people bring those ideas, like, well, it's not God actually, but but I could see God saying that. No, God takes spirit bodies in the spiritual world. So God gave me visions where I was actually living a life with Fa, and Fa is a form of God. That's the name of God that God gave me. God had a lot of plans for my life, and you all just kept. And again, there is an end date for all that. So again, the planet's being destroyed. Just look at the world now. It's just so crazy, isn't it? Well, if you didn't kill me, you probably wouldn't have half the problems you have. I'm alive by the grace of God. 100%. Thank you, Larry. No, they weren't supposed to be in my life. If they weren't in my life, I definitely wouldn't have had this infection. I may not even be here in Kansas. Right. I think I was led here by the nose. Thank you, Larry. So like they'll put stuff in there. Well, why would we do it? No, because you're crazy. You're crazy criminals. Oh no, it's you're the crazy criminal. They're with Satan. That's why they do it. I don't know if my thing is working. So I don't know. I'm wondering if people are crying out from hell. I can't tell where all the spirits come from. Well, they try to, ask for forgiveness for what they've done to me. I mean, it was crazy. I finally was getting the hand washing thing on the ark. I got that, and things were looking up, And then I was attacked with this infection. I'm like, what? I mean, a matter of hours once I realized I was coming out of, all that cramping to a certain degree. I mean, I'm still not perfect. Well, the key was for them never to have interrupted my massage. I mean, it's a violation of law. But these are professionals. It's like CIA attacking your healthcare and your massage, Right. So again, like I said, be careful because you're going to have midterms and different states, governors, and all this kind of stuff going on, and you don't want to affect that vote. And now you're trying to throw money at it. There are people that just can't wait to vote against the Republicans. There's Republicans that can't wait to vote against the Republicans. Correct. So sorry. I was hoping to go to that Moore Church in Amarillo, but I couldn't get well there. If they weren't operating me, I probably could have got well in Amarillo, and I could have went to that Moore Church. Right. And then I would have been in the church ever since then. There's no reason for it to have been done to me. It just really isn't. I mean, I should have been allowed to live just a simple life, and that's it. I mean, the idea is if you're going to stop me from being famous, that's one thing. To stop me from every jot and tittle of life, I mean, come on. Correct. Thanks, Larry. Well, they got paid for it. What else? That's the main reason why they do it. All right. All right. So Just got a message from through Krishna, and that's just a shirt hanging here that I bought, and I can't believe I fit into this shirt. It did when I was in Texas. Um, there's suicide moving again. We have 4 cops that committed suicide in Houston, I think. They looked at the hangars. I don't get all these. Oh, okay. Let's. Okay. Yeah, blinded. They're spiritually blinded. Let's open up the people that would be victims of this harassment, whether it be solely spiritual, psychological, physical, whatever it is. Let's open their eyes so they can see a better way. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Yeah, healed. Voila. Thank you, Larry. Now they shouldn't have been allowed in my life like this. Not one iota. Or wouldn't even be close to this kind of life. Yeah, I'm not the type of person that like says, "Oh, I have to live that life to care for somebody." Right. Again, them forcing this on me caused anything. Again, I never used to say that kind of stuff to them, but again, it is what it is. If you want to push, that's the finality of this planet is that, and the detriment of this planet, I guess, to the detriment is you can't go back. You did this to my life, and there's only so much a person can refute. Correct. Thank you, Mary. I mean, it just boggles the mind that they were allowed to do any of it, really. Correct. At this point, the antibiotic may have been making me sick. I don't know. Right. But what he said is he believed the major infection had already passed by when I got the CAT scan, even though there's evidence of sinus infection. No, I was just looking at this woman. She's a redhead. Again, I was partial to redheads for some reason. I guess because my little kid, one of my friends, was a redhead girl. And I'm looking at her today in the doctor's office. I'm thinking, where were you 25 years ago, or 20 years ago? Right. Of course, she's probably just being, actually, she's probably like 30 or 35. Right. Like they misrouted me. Like Satan thinks it's funny now because people get into my life that I wish I had met 20 years ago. Right. Again, remember, I forgave you all before I even got here to this planet. So if you're experiencing something, it's not me. I can't even curse you. I don't have any power. I can't even bless you. It's only God can. My C's coming back on a little bit. Oh, it was very dark. I was sick. It was dark. I'm like, oh my God. So what Satan wanted me to say is, my God, why have you forsaken me? I didn't say it though. I said, my God, my God. Right? I said, my God. That's what I didn't say, my God, my God. Well, because they were thinking to me. It was cursing me and willing me, and it was, just horrible things attacking, and I go, my God. Oh no, God will take care of it. That's all. Correct. Again, your power base could be Myanmar. I don't know. I don't know what like. We don't know what's the mind of Myanmar. You understand? Like as humans, we go, "Oh, it's horrible that this happened," and poor people. But for all we know, the inside of the deep state is being powered through Myanmar. Well, desperate people think and will desperate things. May deals with the deep state devils inside, or somebody, whoever is around me. Again, it's deep state most likely. So part of what God does is take out that power sphere. But I'm not telling you that's what's happening, but that's an example of what could happen. Again, they're saying God's doing this. I mean, God's not doing this. 100%. Well, God, still the same thing. God wants me to have a good life. Wants me to have a good wife. Right? It's never changed. But I was supposed to get a certain treatment for my stomach, and I never got to that particular type of doctor either. And they actually wrote the script for it. I'm on this regimen. Just they want me to come back in. Oh my God. Well, it gives the stomach a chance to heal. It's stuff called Carafate, sucralate, or something. Right. That stuff was killing my stomach. No, it's horrible what they were doing and what they did to my life. I mean, there's no way I should be in this condition. I was totally fit. Right. They took me out of massage and they took me out of the gym. It's all designed to do the same thing, to make me sick. Right. And age me. Yeah, actually, my appetite just came back on. So I took the Sudafed. It only put my blood pressure up to like 131 over, and I didn't rest. I probably could have rested a little bit more and got even down further. 131 over 95. I mean, it was higher during the day, I'm sure, but it went right back to normal when I went to sleep. When I was ready to go to sleep. I mean, it's not perfect, but if you need to take some medication for a little while. Right. Yeah, it's just so weird because we did all this blood test, and I'm totally healthy. Right. Did an EKG, I'm healthy. This thing gets me. Oh my God. Agree. Makes no sense. I mean, again, they're blocking me, they're chasing me, and I'm supposed to be seeing doctors. You can't get to it. Again, they probably personally will it away. Agree theory. So again, I'm getting sick and the mice show up again. I mean, is that weird or what? I called the office. I said, most likely they're coming from the from the dumpster. I've seen them over there. I'm not too far from the dumpster. Right, where the building actually kind of close. Actually, our building's probably closest to the dumpster, but so is the maintenance building's right there. But as far as a building, our building's the closest to the dumpster. In Santa Fe, we lived I was in an inside building where you go inside the hallway and then your door is there. And you would get 3 or 4 people coming out of their apartment at the same time. You're like, do they have a camera on me in there? Correct. This girl over here doesn't know that. Well, that's what probably started it. Like every time they come out their apartment, I'm walking by. Yeah, it's kind of working. I just wish that infection didn't happen. It would just been so. I believe me. Hashem's here, and Hashem's kind of saying you'd have found your way to religion anyway, right? You were getting well, and you would eventually would have found like in Thailand, like since I mean in Amarillo, I have no idea how they did it. Believe me, I mean it's just boggles the mind because all I needed was to get a couple more trigger points and another epidural. That it was a failed epidural. They should actually get a second one. Correct. The doctor over here is looking at me like, "What? The epidural's not going to work? What are you talking about?" It's like it works. The question is, how long does it work? Mine didn't work at all. And then I had some trigger point shots, had some massage, but jeez. And the thing is, I had already had COVID, so I was like clear for like 6 months. So I had COVID like I don't know when it was, January or something, early February in Texas. They didn't say it was COVID, but I'm sure it was COVID, especially since I had it again. Oh my God! So we had COVID in Texas before it was officially here, I think. I think it was a lesser strain, but it was the same thing. Right. And I remember everybody going, "This is like horrible. This is like the worst thing I've ever had." Now it was actually lesser this time, right? But it was the same thing. Well, they called it a virus. If you look, there's a virus that went through with a bad sore throat. Actually, my throat wasn't even as raw this time, but a sore throat. And again, it changes. Remember, COVID has changed a little bit. Right? That went through Tyler, Texas, right before COVID. Oh, I was wrecked from it. I was so close to telling this guy, yes, ship the Hummer H3 to me. I think it had like 50,000 miles on it. Wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but good enough, Right. Black. Had 35-inch tires and wheels on it. 35-inch tires. I don't know, the wheels were like 18-inch or something like that. I could have just eased up the road to West Fargo or Fargo, North Dakota. I probably would have been healthy. We have short summers, so not too much allergens there. I wouldn't have had that breakdown like that. I guarantee it. Because part of it is I wasn't like sitting in the vehicle. I wasn't stretching my hips. When you sit in a vehicle, you stretch your hips when you drive. Right. I didn't have a vehicle. I was walking to the store. I had a backpack on, but there was no pain or anything. It just for some reason I cramped up, and that was it. Jeez. Thank you, Larry. Nah, I should have just bugged out of there. Left everything in storage. The setups had already begun. Mm. No, even the doctor today, I felt like he was like trying to push the. I mean, there's no way that I wouldn't buy it, but he's trying to push the hearing aid. Right. So again, I'm not against buying the hearing aid, right? But again, let's address my symptoms first. Again, the other doctor did give me some stuff for allergies, but I had something else going on, and I just, because everybody was telling me it wasn't an infection, so I didn't know to say to the doctor I have an infection. I said, "What is this?" All right. Ah, oh my God, sir. Now I should have been put on antibiotic right away. Right? Was that severe enough? I'm so sorry. Again, if they hadn't interfered in my life, I'd already had it. Right? I mean, I already been rinsing and all that, and I wouldn't have caught it. Right? I had to rinse out that one sinus. He says you got a deviated septum, but I don't have any surgical needs in your life. You didn't tell me that you can't breathe. That those are the people that we operate on. I said, well, this thing, a little bit, but once I rinse it out, it goes away. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, there's no reason that they did this to me. It's designed to give a person poor health. Correct. I actually feel a lot better than I did this morning going into the doctor's office. So it's kind of weird. Maybe it was the antibiotic that's making me sick now. I don't know. She's like trying to, don't go to the emergency room for this treatment. Go call us, every time. And I said, well, I tried, but you hadn't seen me yet. Right. It's just I could never. There's so many appointments that I tried to get that I couldn't get. And like I said, HCA Midwest was like, "Oh yeah, we'll call the doctor for you," and then nothing. Oh, the doctor's busy. Like they should. Right. They never followed through, and I had to follow through, and I couldn't get to it. Well, I think I think one of the mistakes is that online telehealth doctors aren't allowed to refer. Right. I think there should be a system where they refer. Again, you all linked together now, so I don't know why you don't allow them to do that. Thank you, Larry. So again, I think that needs to. Again, also if we run into something soon where we have to do something like COVID. No, I was pretty healthy over the last so many years. This is really a mind bender, right? I mean, besides the cramping, I did have sinus infections, but I was able to handle them without any medication. Right. I'm so sorry. Right. The idea when at certain points, there should have been better healthcare. I couldn't get to it. Again, I'm not like a homeless dude that just can't get to it. They're operating me against it, away from it. The deep state types. Okay, Larry. Again, they operated me away from the gym, away from massage. That's the thing is, I pushed through on massage, and then they flipped flipped the trap trigger anyway. And I have no idea why the guy that was allegedly the owner of Massage Envy in Santa Fe was showing up at the Sprouts when I would show up. They're definitely trying to make me gay. There was no doubt. Now, whether he was trying to do that or not, I can't tell you. I mean, it's sick. The whole thing's sick. Oh, God. They weren't supposed to be in my life like this. I should not have gotten sick like this. No, it took a lot to push a lot away so that I would be open to something like this. Right. This hit me harder than the COVID did, actually. I just wish it wouldn't have happened. Would have gotten forward pretty quickly. They destroy everything that can bring about health. Correct. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. So I think the answer was actually to keep a trailer in the van and just keep driving around. Problem is the licenses. I'm a stickler for being as honest as I can with the licenses, and if I guess I could have asked my brother, but I actually would have to actually go out to his place, I guess, and reside there to get it, and then or not. I don't know. As long as my brother's residence was there, I don't know if it was unlawful. If I was just traveling, again, homeless people are given licenses, and so they have identity. Let me see here. If I am traveling around the United States, period, and I have a relative with a residence, period, is it legal for me to obtain and maintain a license in that residence, even though I'm traveling around the United States? What if I don't have a residence? Right. Right. The key was for me to go visit my brother. That's probably what would have happened off of that. Residency questions for full-time RV travelers. Right, let me see what it says. So these people established their residency in South Dakota, but they did it through a mailbox? Doesn't make sense. Yes. The address of the mail service, it serves as our permanent legal address. Oh my God. Cost for the mail service is around 150 a year plus postage because they forward their mail. They travel, they're RVs and they travel around the United States. Mm. Well, it shouldn't have happened to me. I should be still in that condition I was that night when I was happy walking. Somebody cursed me, and there's no doubt. Correct. Yeah, so the best thing would have been to get one in Pennsylvania where my brother lives. But, well, they got a whole thing worked out in South Dakota where they actually get their credit cards and everything through that same address. And their banking and insurance. And that's weird. I don't know if it's exactly legal, but For some reason, there's a reason they picked South Dakota, but I think because I think that's maybe legal. Well, it's just like a homeless person. But it's a he wrote in 2021 and they started it in 2003. They travel in their RV. We've been living on the road as full-time travelers with no fixed home since October of 2001, soon to be 20 years. By April 10th, we had sold our last property in our home state of California and had established residency in a different state. No, they're not actually, they don't have a house or anything. Pretty interesting. Uh, Putin's back in Iran again. All right. Kid Rock built a mini White House. Marcy Reichen, a resident of Illinois, was taken into custody by Capitol Police and charged with trespassing after she tried to use a woman's restroom at the escape, hoping to use the act as a symbolic protest. The transgender college student notified police and politicians in advance about the act, sent a picture of her photo ID, and identified the specific restroom she intended to use. That's just kind of civil disobedience. Right. No, that infection was pretty bad. I shouldn't have had that happen. I should have been way forward of that situation prior. But again, like I said, there's constantly stalking me and blocking. Correct.
Medical discovery is like finding the right.
All right. I guess that's it. So I guess their vehicle, they just drowned or something in Lithuania. Finally, U.S. soldier's been fine. Our vehicle was pulled from a swampy training area. That's right. So they drove into the water. Things sunk real quick, probably. Right. Well, how long did it take to find them? They should have been GPSed until they disappeared. Right. Right. Something's wrong with the system.